How stupid is this? As a result, we have become more dependent on foreign countries than ever before. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to declare our economic independence once again. That means voting for Donald Trump. I'll do it. No doubt about it. Not even a little doubt. It also means reversing two of the worst legacies of the Clinton years. America has lost nearly one-third of its manufacturing jobs since 1997. Even as the country has increased its population, think of this, by 50 million people. At the center of this catastrophe are two trade deals pushed by Bill and Hillary Clinton. First, the North American Free Trade Agreement, or the disaster called NAFTA. Second, China's entry into the World Trade Organization. NAFTA was the worst trade deal in the history. It's like the history of this country. And Hillary Clinton, who backed that terrible, terrible agreement. Then, as Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton stood by idly while China cheated on its currency, added another $1 trillion to our trade deficits, and stole hundreds of billions of dollars in our intellectual property. And I've been talking about China for many years. And you know what? Nobody listened, but they're listening now. That I can tell you.
All right, now these are remarks that were made by Donald Trump earlier this last week in Pennsylvania. And he's absolutely right when he talks about the loss of manufacturing being the loss of our economy. Understand what's happened with this. We've been told, and I've heard this repeated by people like Gary Johnson doubling down, saying, oh, it's a good thing when you get rid of manufacturing. This is what we were all told 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Donald Trump didn't buy it then. You had Ross Perot didn't buy it then either about NAFTA. They were fighting this battle for a long time. Donald Trump has one of the best advisors now for American sovereignty, and that is Senator Sessions on his team. But look, what's happened to us? We've had a manufacturing economy which used to produce wealth. That has been moved offshore. And we're told, don't worry about it. They're making cheap stuff for you. Just enjoy the cheap stuff that's coming in. And enjoy your nice, clean service jobs. How's that service economy working out for you? Well, see, even the service economy is disappearing, isn't it? It's going down into a gig economy, you know, like working for Uber. And Gary Johnson, we got a report up today on Infowars.com where he says, Trump is a racist. No, that's original, isn't it? I guess that'll really get you a lot of traction, won't it, Gary? You know, Gary Johnson is nothing but a stalking horse for Hillary Clinton. And the Libertarian Party, I'm ashamed to say that I never had anything to do with it. It was decades ago that I was involved in it. But they have become basically a bunch of welfare whores, just trying to get money out of the federal government. They hope that if they get more than 5%, they can get massive funds for their little political party and get on the welfare bandwagon for their political party. That's what the Libertarian Party has turned into. And that's what they want to turn America into. Because you go from manufacturing to a service economy to the gig economy like Uber. Gary Johnson said, oh, Uber's great. We need to have Uber everything. Oh, really? Really? Because what happens when you get into this part-time service economy now that we're struggling with? The next thing that happens is people like Uber say, you're going away. We're going to replace you with robots, with automation, and you've got no job. And then what we're going to do is we're going to give you a handout, a universal basic income. And we've now got people like Charles Murray, who documented back in the 1980s the problems of dependency based on welfare, now advocating it with the Koch brothers, with all of these libertarian think tanks saying, this is the way we control the precariat, the people whose jobs we have gradually eviscerated in this economy. We make them completely dependent with a universal basic income. Stop it. Take your independence. Don't become dependent. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, your host on this July 3rd, 2016. Do you feel like you're free and independent? Look at this law in California. This is on Friday, this last Friday, a new vaccine mandate taking effect in California. You are not going to be allowed, your child will not be allowed to enter the 7th grade or to advance in school unless you have taken all the shots mandated by the state. There you go. These are the same people who say it really doesn't matter. We don't want any kind of regulation or safety concerns whatsoever about abortions. I mean, here in Texas, they're even going to shut down the fire safety rules. The Supreme Court just struck everything. Remember, we talked about that. All of these laws, all these things that they had there, they had a lot of different safety requirements. They said, well, this is about women's health. All right, let's make sure that you're able to get a gurney into these houses, because a lot of these so-called abortion clinics were nothing but repurposed old houses that they had gone in to do abortions. So let's make sure that you got fire safety in here, that you can get a gurney through the hallway, so forth and so on. They struck down everything. All of it across the board, even though all of these regulations were severable. They're not concerned about that. They only have one concern. They want abortions. They don't care about your health either when it comes to the vaccines. These are people who would hand you a loaded revolver and say, don't worry, there's only one cartridge in there. And, you know, that's only about 17% chance that you'll get shot. Just spin the cylinder and hold it to your kid's head. And if you don't, they're not going to go through school. And so we got a lot of people, they say, are going to move out of the Golden State. Hey, move your child out of school. And you'll probably have to move out of California in order to do that because they don't like homeschooling there either. They don't like any kind of freedom there. Isn't it interesting? You know, we're told that they're all pro-choice people. They don't give you any choices about your life, not about your child's health, not which vaccines you're going to take, and how you're going to schedule those vaccines so that you don't take all of them in a massive lump at once. They could care less. Care less. Not your choice. Okay? It's not your body or your child's body when it comes to vaccines. Only when it comes to killing your children. Then it's your body alone. Don't tell me what to do with my body. Get your laws off my body when it comes to that. Another piece of news, and this is a good piece of news, quite frankly, I think. We got the Chicago Tribune wringing their hands. That's always a good sign. They say Cinemark looks awful, seeking a $700,000 judgment from the Aurora, Colorado shooting victims who sued them and lost. Oh, gee, is that a problem? You see, what they did was they sued them in a frivolous lawsuit. They tried to say that the movie theater was responsible for the shooting. They're not. Neither are the gun manufacturers. Now, Hillary Clinton and the Democrats want to hold gun manufacturers responsible, even though we have a Second Amendment, even though we have the principle in law that if you don't do anything wrong or negligent, you're not liable to be sued. And even though the Congress specifically passed a bill saying, and oh, by the way, this applies to gun manufacturers. If they're just manufacturing guns, you know, people can use guns to defend lives. And they're used more often to defend lives than they are to take lives. But don't worry about that. We're not going to do anything. Hillary says she's going to take the guns anyway. She's going to go after the gun manufacturers. She's going to sue them, just like these people who are the parents of those who were killed in this theater shooting. They sued the movie theater. They lost. And now, according to Colorado law, the winning side in a civil lawsuit is allowed to recover its litigation costs, and they're trying to do that. And the Chicago Tribune says, well, they're going to get a backlash from that. People are going to boycott this theater chain. And it's like, no, if I can ever find another movie I want to go see, and they're making such trash, I can't think of any that are coming up that I want to go see. But if I do, I will make a point of going to Cinemark because I don't think they should be made victims of this. But of course, it all goes back to Hillary Clinton. She wants to make you guilty for things that you didn't do. The movie theater should be shut down. The gun owners should be shut down. People who didn't have anything to do with what happened in Orlando, according to the official story, she wants to shut them down as well, to hold them guilty. But she won't go to jail. And I want to remind you of this interview. We played a discussion with Larry Nichols and Alex at the beginning of the show. We have another video and an article that has clips from that up on Infowars.com. Clinton Insider says Lynch will not indict Hillary. Yeah, she will be inducted. She'll be inducted into the Criminal Hall of Fame, now known as the White House. But she will not be indicted. We all know that. And he spelled this out. I want to play you just an excerpt of this. You need to watch this entire interview. We saw this coming.
Ago, we had the video clip. I just put the article up on screen for TV viewers in the last segment. Lynch said we're going to criminalize criticizing Islam. She tells the press, don't call it radical Islam. They don't even mention Islam now in all these terror attacks. You got a gun from Fast and Furious at the Paris shooting. That's foreign mainstream news, not even in the press here. Our whistleblowers told us they're shipping guns through Mexico to ISIS. These are organized criminals, and Larry Nichols is our guest, the consummate Clinton insider, been blowing the whistle on him for 2 decades. Larry, what does it signify that on the tarmac, she meets him, they meet for 30 minutes at least, the FBI and Secret Service tell ABC News and others, turn your cameras off. They've testified to that now. This is clearly premeditated evil. It isn't an accident, chance meeting. Why would they be so incredibly arrogant? I mean, is there a method to the madness, rubbing our noses in it?
Oh, absolutely. You know, Alex, I used to say right on your program years ago, if you'll recall, I used to say the good news is they're lying to us. When they stop lying, then we're gone. All right, they're not lying anymore. They're doing stuff right in front of us. And what she's doing, what this meeting signifies, and don't believe they didn't know it, because I'm telling you, Lynch and Clinton both knew the reality of them meeting. You know, they're professionals. They know. This is to get everybody discouraged, Alex. This is to break the spirit of all of us that are out here trying to fight and get our country back. This is designed to break our spirit.
Well, I don't think it's done that. I don't think it's done that. I think it's energized everybody. But, I mean, her going on the Aspen Institute, have you seen the clip? It just happened an hour ago. We played it. Where she says, I'm going to decide. She goes, recusing myself, no, but I'm not involved, but I decide whether we prosecute.
Yeah. Clinton doublespeak. Listen, here's what they're doing. She's not going to be indicted. It's over. It's over. She's not going to be indicted.
So that's the decision. They're rubbing our noses in it, squatting in our face, letting us know.
And if anyone, what that meeting was about for those career prosecutors.
And again, you can hear the full report of that as well as some quotes of that. You can see the article up at Infowars.com. We also talked on Friday to Wayne Madsen. We talked about another MO of the Clintons, as Larry Nichols knows well, and that is the people who seem to die around them as part of these investigations. So wasn't it an interesting week last week with the Clintons? First, we had the impromptu meeting, according to the Washington Post, on Monday. Then we had the Department of Justice and the State Department saying, we're not going to release all this stuff until the middle of her first term. Then we had the weekend of 4th of July meeting with the FBI, so that nobody covers that. And then just to make sure that there's no other attention paid, we had a guy who was part of a UN scandal where they were having, yet again, 20 years after the fact, when Bill Clinton was running in 1996, we had this massive corruption from Chinese government officials and Chinese businessmen admittingly buying influence in the election with the Democrat Party and with the Clintons at the time. Remember Charlie Tree? Well, he was running some other Chinese businessmen, and they were buying influence from a guy named Ash. And as they were going through and giving immunity to these people and moving up the chain of command, Ash was begging for some kind of a deal with these people to talk. And interestingly enough, he died of a heart attack. Oh, no, wait, I'm sorry. That was the first story. The second story was he got his throat crushed as he was doing a barbell workout. Okay. Another one of the 46 people who die around the Clintons. It is the same MO, the same methods that they use all the time, folks. They know how to play you. Don't let them play you. When we come back, we're going to talk about this Tesla crash and where they're headed with our cars. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm David Knight, your host. Hope you're having a good time on this 4th of July weekend. We want to say thank you to you. So we've put in some 4th of July specials this weekend. We have deep discounts on a wide variety of products at InfoWars Store. We've got 20% off Survival Shield X2 Nascent Iodine. We have 20% off Alexa Pure water filters, 20% off Alexa Pure air filters, as well as 20 to 40% off all selected InfoWars Select Storable Foods. You'll find all of this at InfoWarsStore.com. We hope that this will be a win-win weekend for all of us, fighting together for liberty, keeping independent media independent. That's the way we fund ourselves, so we don't become dependent on sponsors who can pull the rug out from under us if the government tells them to, or we do something that is controversial. We want to have that kind of independence, so we fund our operation this way. And it's a way that you can provide for your health, for your family's security.